I said it in the wrong order.
Welcome to Politik'n East of the River.
Where community meets strategy.
Culture meets accountability. And the people finally gets the microphone. We're happy to be here today. This is episode 2. Again, my name is Alejaibra Badu Sloan.
And I'm Charnal Cheney.
We're happy to have with us today a very special guest. As you know, we're talking all things east of the river when it comes to politics, when it comes to healing, when it comes to community. And one of the things that we're experiencing with this election is something new. Have you heard about it before? It's new. Everybody nodding their head, so it's new.
Mm-hmm.
I show you. And what that thing is called is ranked choice voting. This might be the first time you heard it. You might have heard it and ignored it. You might have heard it and think you got to calculate it. But today we're going to figure it out. And we have Brandon Bush with us today.
Mm-hmm.
Word. And he is what we're going to call the mastermind. I'm just bugging. He does a lot of work when it comes to ranked choice voting. So, yeah, we're going to find out because I don't even know much, you know. So I look forward to understanding more myself because what I know, you know. Word. So welcome, Brandon.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I'm appreciative of y'all for allowing me this space and, you know, allowing me to talk with y'all. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, so please just tell us a little bit about you and what you do with ranked choice voting. And then kind of go into what is ranked choice voting.
Period. So my name is Brandon Bush Thompson. Either one is perfectly fine. I am from Kansas City, Kansas, and Dallas, Texas. I came here in 2017 to go to Howard. I got involved with ranked choice voting, specifically Grow Democracy DC, in their campaign to teach people about ranked choice voting through the League of Women Voters of DC. I was doing some pro bono work with them for my master's program, and they connected me with Kenyatta, and it's been history ever since. And yeah, it's been really good work, but in regards to ranked choice voting itself, it is a new system of voting that is coming to DC. Specifically how it works is that different from traditional elections, now people get the opportunity to rank multiple candidates that they like in a ranked choice election. And a candidate has to win by over 50%. So the way that they get there is that first they are going to rank their favorite candidate as their first choice. And then they have the opportunity to rank backup candidates. And they have up to 5 choices in total that they can rank on their ballot. Voters do not have to use all 5 candidates that on their ballot if they do not want to. If they only support one person, that is perfectly fine. They just mark them as their favorite and keep it pushing. If there's only 2 or 3 candidates that they support, that's also perfectly fine too. They just mark them according to their preference and rank order. And then they start getting into the counting of the votes. And when you're counting the votes, we want to keep in mind that you have to reach that more than 50% threshold. And when they start counting them, the candidate that has the least amount of votes will get eliminated. However, your vote will always stay with your first choice unless that scenario happens with your candidate. And in that case, your choice will, or your vote will simply move to whoever your next choice is. And so that's going to continue to happen over and over again. The votes will be redistributed according to your choices until somebody comes out on top as having reached over 50%.
Okay.
And that's that on that.
So in a world where the black vote is miscounted, miscalculated, and misrepresented, is this messy?
I would say that it's a lot less messy than it sounds. Usually when we're giving our presentations, we have like a full presentation on like how the votes are distributed and things like that. I think a lot of people think that when they cast their ballot based on whoever their favorites are, people's votes just go any and everywhere, and that there's like a crazy algorithm that is kicking into place and, you know, is messing with their votes. But that is not the case. DC Board of Elections, like any other election, they will be the people who oversee tabulations, and tabulations will be live for everybody to be able to see. So you're going to be able to see in real time, like how the votes are being counted, how votes are being distributed and things like that. Obviously, you won't be able to see everybody's individual ballots and who exactly they voted for and how their votes will be distributed, because that's obviously confidential and anonymous. But the voter themselves gets to determine where their vote goes. And you do that by marking who it is that you prefer on your ballot. And anybody that you do not support, you don't rank them at all. You don't mark them on your ballot. So, yeah.
So if I only like one candidate, I can only vote for one candidate?
Yeah, if you wanted to, if that is your prerogative, there's no other candidate that is really speaking to you, that represents your interests or the things that you care about. There's only one. You mark that person, you be done with it. Move on to whoever the next race is or the next contest is.
Word, and just because I see someone there, so if I rank my one, and I see somebody else there, and I really don't like them, I don't have to rank them just because I feel guilty because I see them. I can just be like,
Yeah,
listen,
no.
I don't
And
mess with you.
I think that that's like what makes it different from traditional elections, because in the past, when people voted, they voted according to who they thought would win, rather than who they actually like vibed with or who they actually believe in. Now you get the opportunity to choose both if you want to, or to rank both on your ballot if you want to, where you can put your favorite candidate as your first choice, the person that really speaks to you. And then if there's another candidate that you support, that you think would win, that also is a strong candidate, you can mark them as well. It allows you more opportunity to express your voice in a much, much more democratic way compared to traditional elections. So, yeah.
Word.
So why ranked choice voting? Like, do you know the background, like why we headed in this direction, why we decided to change in this direction?
So I can give a little bit of background to that. I can't speak directly to why, because I wasn't a part of the original campaign team that brought it to DC. But what I can say, because I did write a paper about it in my master's class, is that the whole idea of it was to make elections more inclusive. Because when you cast your ballot in a traditional ranked election, you vote for that one person and then your vote is done with. Because ranked choice voting is something that is not only practiced here now in DC for this upcoming election, but has been practiced in Alaska, in California, in San Francisco, in Maine, and now also in Maryland, in Greenbelt. It's something that has shown itself to be very much so more inclusive of people's voices. It still allows for people to, have the traditional style of voting if that's what they so choose, like we were talking about before, just marking one person, but also giving them the option of being able to say, well, yeah, I like this candidate, but I'm also comfortable with seeing these other people take on this role or being in this leadership position. And it's something that's been around for a very, very long time. Like it's new to us because it's not commonplace, but one of the reasons why it's not commonplace is because I think it's like in the 1940s or 50s, it was something that was becoming a lot more implemented in local elections around the country. But conservative people at the time saw that more Black people were getting elected, more women were able to participate and have their voices heard and be represented in leadership. And they was like, nah, we're not doing that. So they overturned it in, local municipal government systems, and it became kind of a minute or like a minuscule practice. It wasn't really practiced as much. But of course, with everything that's going on with elections these days, a lot more people are talking about it and are considering it for their own elections.
No, I think that's really dope that this is not some stuff that was just made up.
Yeah, no.
I just figured
it
this was some
didn't
stuff.
just come
Even
out
when
of
you say
nowhere.
you did a paper, I'm like, so hey, you did a paper over some stuff that was out for 10 years.
Right.
I don't really enough data, in the space. And also to understand that this is something that makes it more equitable in a sense when it comes to voting equality.
Yeah.
That's good to know, because I wasn't sure exactly what is ranked choice voting or why I should embrace ranked choice voting, or do I just be ranking everybody because I see 10 people, I rank all 10, or what the case may be. So understanding
no,
some
you
of the
only
history
rank your
was good.
5. You only get your 5 choices, and that's it. That's
Okay.
done. You don't get no more than just that 5. If there's 10 people on the ballot, if there's 5 people, 25 people, you get to rank your top 5 choices. Anybody else that you don't like, you don't rank them. But yeah, I think one of the things that has been coming up a lot in regards to like myth busting and trying to give people like the real about what ranked choice voting is that people think that this is something that white people came up with to disenfranchise them. And
that was about to be my next.
yeah.
That was about to be what I was about to say.
Yeah, okay, let's get into that then. Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that I've been hearing a lot is that Black people will be further gentrified and further pushed out of the city because of ranked choice voting.
Got you.
And our voices will not be heard. And so that is one of the myths. And then you also use the word inclusive.
Yeah.
And some people feel like it's not that inclusive for our people who are illiterate, for our people who don't really know a lot about politics, like you said, and they may just pick people off of like who they see or who they know. So if you don't know a lot about the different candidates, you may be forced to pick people that you don't really know or you don't like.
Yeah.
So being able to like speak to those, I think would be.
Yeah, before like hopping deep into that, I think that in doing the work that I've been doing and like actually seeing people talk about it, having those conversations with them, I think that those are like incredibly real concerns and things that inform at least my team's strategy on how we're talking to people and where we're going in regards to talking to people. Because there is a problem with illiteracy. There is a problem with misinformation. There is a problem with people already feeling disenfranchised. And introducing something new in an election this important, to me, it makes 110% sense why people feel that way. And if I was in their shoes, then I would probably, like if I was on the other side trying to learn or having to learn about it, I would feel the exact same way. My boss, Kenyatta, she actually joined the team because she wanted to know and understand more about ranked choice voting. And she's from DC. She grew up in Ward 7. And so her being my boss and her growing up here and knowing the people and understanding what their concerns are, again, that really has driven how we go out and speak to people, what our graphics look like, how we have our conversations and educational sessions with people. We don't assume that just because people don't understand it on the outset that they're dumb, or just because people are confused that this is something that people can't learn. I was just telling y'all, like we was just at Moton Elementary teaching second graders how to do it. We've been all over the city talking to our seniors about how to do it, and they get it. They know how to mark their ballots. The thing is that because this is something new and something that we haven't seen before, again, against the backdrop of what's happening politically in the country, it's a lot to take on all at once. And I think part of how we battle that or how we address it is at least having like the candid conversations about why it makes us uncomfortable. The Black vote is being disenfranchised across the country. My goal, at least as a civic educator, is to make sure that that's not our reality, that we're getting out and talking to people about it. At least if you know about it, you'll be able to have more control and say so over your future by being able to vote, over specifically your vote and who it goes to. I think not knowing is fulfilling that prophecy of disenfranchisement and, handing your vote off to people who actually do want you to be disenfranchised. The more informed we are as voters, I think the more power we have. And that's not even to say, and this is outside of Grow Democracy DC, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but that's not to say that I myself believe that voting is like the thing that is going to save us. Mm-hmm. But it is a political tool in our toolbox, and our ancestors fought for it. Mm-hmm. The Freedom Summers in Mississippi, I was telling you about that. My dad is from Jackson, Mississippi. I grew up with my grandma in Jackson, Mississippi. That's like my history. In understanding and knowing that people sacrificed their lives or put their lives in danger, people came across the country. People came from other countries to fight for our rights to be able to vote. And they're trying actively right now to take away people's rights to vote. There's got to be something behind that where we are at least tuned into it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I lost my train of thought.
That's all right.
No, it's good. I feel like it's a good point that I'm happy you brought up the concept of voting being a tool. That that it might not be voting alone that's gonna save us.
Yeah, no.
You know, but voting being a tool. That reminds me when people come up to me. I remember when I'm doing signatures and campaigning, and people are like, I don't want to sign because I'm not into politics, and I'm like, but I ain't either. But I need you to sign here because now it's time that we need to employ these tools. Like beforehand, maybe this tool was not necessary for a certain season, you know. But in this moment, there's a reason why there's so much change. Even here in DC, you know, speaking about Politik'n east of the river, there's so much change. There's so much seats and things that are open.
I got on today.
That if we don't show up now, we don't employ those tools now,
right?
Then we can become further, especially because they've been eradicating a lot of rules and legislation that was supposed to be put in place, you know, to give us access. And now just like that, snatch. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I like that concept. That I like the freedom of expression of being able to say, you know, voting is a tool, but the voting is not the only thing that's going to get us free.
Yes, that's the reality, I think. And I also, what I really like about it is the 51%. Can you say more about that? Like, what does that mean for us now that they have to win by 51%?
Right. So in traditional elections, especially here in DC is so interesting to me politically because it's a very politically active city, not just like in people coming here to run for elections, but also how the city shows up in elections, like voters themselves. In a ranked choice election, like you said, somebody has to win by 50% plus one in order for them to be declared the winner. In traditional elections, because you have so many people running for a race, that would result in split votes, which is like somebody winning by like 30% of the vote or 20% of the vote, 20% of the vote, which means that 70% or 80% of people did not vote for that person. And it's not really representative of the overall voice of DC in that sense. So with ranked choice voting, it forces candidates to get out into the community a lot more before they could talk to just like their usual voter base and, you know, be in Ward 1 and that be it. And they win by 30% because they talked to everybody in Ward 1, but they didn't talk to anybody in Ward 2, Ward 3, Ward 4, Ward 5, don't know nothing about what's happening in Ward 6, 7, and 8. This forces them to campaign harder. It also, again, gets rid of that whole like lesser of two evils thing, where because you are now voting and like having somebody win by the majority, your vote or your voting expression is a little bit more of like your choice. Like you can say exactly what you want by expressing that on who you want on your ballot a little bit more easy, or it translates a little bit easier than it would with traditional voting. it promotes, or at least it's supposed to promote, more positive campaigning. And you've seen how candidates in these races have been. You know, it's been a mix of both things, like a little bit of negativity, a little bit of positivity. Like there have been some cross endorsements. That's been really
that's one
good.
thing I've been saying that's new. Like candidates endorsing each other, saying, "Hey, vote for this person, or make me your second choice, or make this person your first choice, and make me your second choice." I think that has been a positive.
Very, very new. Very, very, very new. But I think that that's also something that attributes to it. But yeah, that 51% forces candidates also to be held accountable. Because if you don't do what you're saying that you're going to do in office, election time is going to run around again in 2-4 years. And people, again, will have the opportunity to vote on who their next candidates are going to be. And if they don't like you,
they might not rank you as high.
They're not going to rank you as high, or they're not going to put you on their ballot at all. So candidates are forced to work harder outside of campaigning too. They're actually forced to really speak to people and to really achieve the goals that they set in mind, go for the promises that they've given to everybody during their campaign trails.
I've heard something, and I want to get clarity on what I hear, because, you know, hearing stuff ain't always what it is to be true.
Right.
But I heard that in this election, ranked choice voting would not apply to the Democratic aspect of the election. You ever heard anything about like that? Or is ranked choice voting applied to everything on the ballot?
It's going to apply to everything on the ballot except for party committee, like state committee races.
Okay.
So literally everything else, from the president to vice president to mayor, delegate at large, all of those seats, everything else, pretty much everything is going to be ranked choice voting if there are 3 or more candidates in the race. If there's only 2 people, then you only just have to mark 1. But yeah, it's going to be in every race, no matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever the case may be. It's going to be in every race.
Okay. You said something I want to catch too. You said if it's only 2 people in the race, you should only select 1.
Yeah.
So if I have 2 people on the ballot, let's say it's Charnal, and let's say that it's someone else, and I like Charnal.
Yeah.
I can select her, and I don't have to rank the other person too. I can just leave it blank.
Yeah. Well, yeah. With if it's only 2 people, then you just choose whoever. It's going to be the same way as if it was traditional bullet style voting.
Okay.
Where you just choose one, and then that's it. That's done. You don't need to mark both.
Word.
You don't need to mark both at all. Yeah. You just vote for one, and then you're done.
Because if one person don't win, then the other one definitely gonna win.
Right.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, so does that mean that we as voters need to do a little bit more research as well? Like we need to research different candidates that's running, and we need to know a little bit more about the different candidates.
I will say, like, that is, if there's any definitive drawbacks, it's that we do have to work a little bit harder as voters too to understand who
I
our
say
candidates
being open-minded.
are.
You can say a drawback, but I hear open-mindedness, because sometimes when you gun-ho your number 1 and it's only an option for number 1, then I don't hear none of you all.
Exactly.
This is who it is. That's all it is.
Exactly.
Forget all you other people, right?
Yeah.
But now since there's options, then okay, cool. I don't have to be ashamed to admit that you saying some points over there that I like.
Yeah.
Right.
My homie might not be saying. You know, even though I'm gonna vote for the homie. But if the homie don't get in, I can understand who you are as well.
Right.
You know, so that it inspires more open-mindedness. You know, I feel like if we would have knew this ahead of time in this election more, it might have shifted the way some of these debates, some of this campaigning has been. Because sometimes it's been glorious, it's been peaceful, and sometimes it's been messy. You know,
absolutely.
or people been in their emotions about everything, and their people that they're wishing to vote for. So I like it that it's challenging people to be open-minded.
And then get more politically involved at that. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to know who you put in office.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Whereas, you know, I think a lot of times we just go for visibility. Who name you done seen the most? What person you done seen the most? And it's like, nah. Got to know a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think this is exciting, though, for this to be one of the most important elections we've had in a long time. And the fact that we get to pick, I know at least for me, I got a few candidates that I like. So the fact that I get to rank them, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to see one of y'all in office, I think that's exciting for me. And the fact that, you know, people don't get to split the vote no more. For me, that has been the most irritating thing, especially over here in Ward 8, because the numbers are already low.
Right.
So you got people who really shouldn't even be in the race, and they should have dropped out, but they didn't, right? And now they done split the vote, and the person that the votes could have went to somebody who was going to win.
It just further dilutes like other candidates' votes because, again, like you said, you're splitting them. Now you don't really have to worry as much about that. You know, again, somebody has to get that 50% plus one. So that 50% plus one is going to happen, you know, regardless of whoever it is you choose.
If there had to be 3 major takeaways, non-complicated takeaways that the everyday person can hear, receive, and move forward with this ranked choice voting, give me 3 non-complicated takeaways. Powerful though, but non-complicated.
This is actually a really good question. It's been a week in regards to talking to people about this. So I've had a lot of opportunity to kind of think about, like, if there were 3 things I wanted people to take away from it. One, rank your favorite candidate as your first choice in that first column. Rank your backup candidates in rank order from 2 to 5, and you get those 5 choices. That's that on that.
But you don't have to use all 5 choices. You don't have
to use all 5 choices.
So rank your backup from 2 to 5 is your option. If you have that many options you wish to choose.
Yes. And then the third and probably the most prominent one is that, how do I want to phrase it? There is no power in not participating or not understanding or knowing. Willingly opting out of at least making yourself knowledgeable about it. I know that a lot of people have their perspectives on whether or not they want to vote. As somebody who is not a politician or is somebody who's trying to convince people that this is the best system, if that is not what you choose to do, then that is your prerogative. But I believe that there is power in knowledge. Educate yourself about this system because it's going to be here for a while. Whether or not somebody chooses to overturn it in the future, that is not my wheelhouse, but it's here right now. And not knowing is further disenfranchisement. Not engaging it is further disenfranchisement. It's willingly giving away your power. And in this economy, in this political landscape, I don't think that we as a people can afford or should give up our power simply because we don't understand it or we don't agree with it or we don't really mesh well with it. Knowledge is power. So we need to educate ourselves about what's going on, if nothing else. If nothing else.
Well, as your DC Democratic Ward 8 committee man candidate, I say go vote. You know, politician kicking that right. Go vote. And make sure you rank, make sure that you rank Ward 8. Ballots are officially out. You know, so by the time you're watching me on your TV screen or your Instagram screen, ballots will be out. Mail-in ballots will be out. Yo, fill them out. Don't procrastinate. Fill them out. Send them back into the mail. I say go vote. Yes. What you got?
And as your Ward 8 committee woman, candidate, I say if you don't mail in your ballot, then June 23rd?
June 16th.
June 16th is when we go out and vote. So definitely be at early voting and
Show
make
up to the
sure you
polls.
rank us. Free DC Slate is your number one choice.
That's it.
That's it.
Word. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Anything else you got?
No, thank you, Brandon,
Thank
so
you.
much for educating the community
Of
on ranked
course,
choice
of
voting.
course.
And hopefully people, they participate. And we don't
I
just
hope so
not
too.
use this because it's new, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, thank y'all for having me. On behalf of Grow Democracy DC, even though we're a nonpartisan nonprofit, I really, really appreciate y'all for talking about this, not being afraid to have this conversation, because a lot of people, they just, I don't know, they're kind of scared of it. But I appreciate y'all's bravery, y'all's grace,
We want to
and
know.
the space for just allowing me to be here. I genuinely appreciate
we really,
it.
really, really want to know, and we want our people to know.
Yes.
And it's beautiful when it's our people that can teach our people. So thank you for being our people.
Of course, I try. I'm trying my best.
Word. All right, folks. I'll see you next time. Peace.